Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So today I want to talk about a topic that I think a lot of people who are thinking about doing YouTube is going to be asking themselves. And that question is YouTube too saturated? Is it too late to start YouTube? Now this question is really relevant, especially now we're in 2020, because for a lot of people, I think they might be thinking there's just way too many videos, way too many channels already, and the YouTube of 2020 is not the same YouTube of 2019, and it's definitely not the same YouTube of 2005 whenever YouTube first got started. Now, this is something I asked myself as well whenever I uploaded my very first YouTube video in 2013. I was thinking, there's no way anybody's going to watch my video. And at that time, the very first uploads that I did were video game related. And as you can see right now, I am playing a video game. And this is a perfect example of a market or a group that is very saturated. There are a ton of video game channels. Now, whenever YouTube got started, there weren't that many. And over time, so many people are creating gaming channels, but yet people are still creating gaming channels to this day. And so let's go ahead and try to answer this, because I think the video game category is the perfect example of a market that is too saturated. And it also answers a lot of the questions on whether or not that you should actually even get started in YouTube in 2020 or beyond. Now, let's take, for example, why somebody would even get into this market, knowing that there are a lot of video game channels out there already with millions and millions of hours of videos being uploaded every single day. Well, in my opinion, whenever you're looking at a category, whether it's a video game category or a makeup category, which is also highly saturated, you might think there is no way anybody's going to watch my videos. Well, whenever I did start my YouTube channel, when I uploaded some of my first videos, they were video game related, and I created many more video game videos after that. And the thing is, people actually watched that. Now, was it easy for me to actually upload that and get watch and views from it? No, it was definitely not easy. But what surprised me was that people was actually out there looking at my videos. Whereas before I ever uploaded any videos to YouTube, I kept wondering and thinking to myself, wow, is anybody going to watch this? Because in 2013, there are already tons and tons of video game channels out there. And most of my content was not anywhere near the quality of the people who were producing video game content for years prior to that. But this is where I think you being really fearful of it being saturated will keep you from creating. Now, that's not to say that it's going to be easy. You know, if you are going to get into a category or a market that's already saturated, it's definitely going to be more competitive. But the positive side of that is, since it is saturated, that means there's an opportunity for you. And another thing I think you want to, take into consideration is the fact that if you are going to get into a category that's highly saturated, then think about what you can add that's different, or what you can add that's going to be better than what's already available. And most importantly, how can you inject your own personality into it? Because that's how people actually can start a channel in a very saturated category and still make it here on YouTube, because the one thing that nobody can copy is you, your personality. I still see new video game channels, popping up today. And the people who have been on YouTube for a long time, the one that stick around for a long time, I see them evolve their content. So their content does and can change over time. And I think that's something that all of us as creators have to do. We're always having to, be ready to change. We're having to adapt very quickly in a lot of instances. And at the same time, this is something that you must take a long-term approach in. And so in general, is it too saturated? Well, it's always going to be too saturated in some category. But is it too late to start YouTube in 2020 and beyond? I would say no. If you always take that into consideration, just understand the actual category that you're getting into, and then try to add a lot of your own personality, and then do something different with that, then I think you always have an opportunity to actually grow here on YouTube. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at GeekOutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, take for example my entire channel itself. I am in the tech category, doing tutorials, doing YouTube. There's already a ton of channels out there doing that. Now, it's not as saturated as a video game category. However, there's already a lot of channels out there. But even with that, I have been able to grow a channel, and it's continually growing because over time, the content I create is improving. And most importantly, my personality is in these videos. And so that means that, if I keep focusing on it, keep improving, it can only get better. And as long as I don't get too lazy or just not get interested in doing YouTube anymore, I feel that there's really no limits to where you could go with YouTube or any other platform on the internet. And going back to the whole video game analogy, just think of it as a video game. So you start off, you're very underpowered, you don't know where to go, but as you keep battling, keep leveling up, fighting all these bosses, hitting these goals, you're going to keep getting more and more powerful. And then by the end of the game, you just be a master of your craft. And so I think that is the easiest way to explain it from a video game analogy of how YouTube really is. And so that's kind of how I view most things, that it's just like a video game and I'm constantly leveling up and there's never going to be an end. So that means this is a really fun video game for me. So that is it for this particular episode. I just wanted to talk about this because, this is something that I thought about before I started YouTube. And I'm so glad I didn't have those feelings of it being too saturated, too competitive, stop me from uploading YouTube videos. Because if that were to happen, I wouldn't have this channel and I wouldn't be talking to you, the cool geek audience that is here today. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you wanted to see more of my YouTube tutorials and tips, I do have a playlist. I'll leave that in the description as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.